Hey everyone, it's Dominique from Blogging My Undies, and today I just wanted to tell you a funny story. It's from a while ago from my blog, but in case you haven't read it, I'll tell you the video version. So what happened last Easter, the Wednesday before Good Friday, the A-Man and the B-Man got in a big fight. And by big fight, I mean the A-Man took the Hulk version of this plastic doll toy, solid plastic, hard plastic, and he actually took a swing and cracked the V-Man in the face, right between the eyes. So while nothing really swelled up, he did bruise a bit, of course. Nothing serious came from it. Of course, A-Man got in trouble, V-Man was crying for a couple minutes, and then everything was okay in the world. Fast forward 2 days later, on Good Friday, and we just woke up. Everybody has a day off because it's a holiday, of course. And I noticed that the V-Man's face looked weird because his nose started shifting to, one side of his face, and the bridge of his nose was swollen. His eyes were a bit poofy. So we rushed him over to ER, or the emergency at the hospital, and the doctor couldn't look up his nose. She couldn't get anywhere near his face. Like, just touching V-Man's face made him scream in fits. So we decided, okay, we're not going to do anything for now. And she said, if it is broken, it looks like it is, but if it truly is broken, we have to wait until the swelling goes down, and then we can reset the nose if it needs to be done, if it's that bad, and maybe would affect his breathing. So nothing came out of it. We waited forever for the swelling to go down, and lo and behold, about a month after, he went for his pre-op appointment because one of his tubes had fallen out from his last surgery. So they tend to fall out after a year or two, depending how lucky you are. And this one had fallen out, so he had to go do the regular routine as if he was getting both put in for the first time. They wanted to check and make sure he was healthy, that, he could breathe and everything, and see how badly he needed the surgery. So because he already had one in, and because he was autistic and prone to ear infections like all the time, they said, okay, yeah, no problem. And the doctor said, 1 second, the V-Man sounds kind of weird. Like, does he sleep well? And we said, no, he doesn't. He usually wakes up in the middle of the night, and he's crying and sulking, but he's comforted quite easily if one of us goes in the bed with him, or he comes to our bed. And the doctor said, that sound just doesn't sound right, maybe he has like a booger or something up his nose. So she went up his nose, or tried, and then called for more nurses to help us. And then she discovered a mass in his nose and suggested she had to do a biopsy. So I started freaking out because usually mass equals tumor, cancer, something really bad. And he was only 5, and I was freaking out and texting my husband, oh my gosh, there's, a mass up his nose, ah. And then she went and got another specialist to come in and take a look up his nose. So she put some fancy headlamp on, and she went digging, and she pulled out this thing about the size, of a €2 coin, and it was black, and we had no idea what it was. I thought it was a piece of sausage because it was whole. It was a whole piece of black something. And then they flipped it over, and it turned out to be a piece of carrot. I'll let that sink in for a moment. A piece of carrot went up my 5-year-old's nose, and this whole time we thought it was the A-Man's fault because we truly believed he broke our 5-year-old's nose with, pretend this is Hulk, with this guy, but Hulk version. So they had no idea what it was, and then because it was black on one side, and obviously it was quite infected up there. It cleared out on its own, of course, but they were freaking out. There was like 3 nurses, or 2 nurses and a doctor, I guess, taking a look at this chunk of thing in the cardboard container, and when they flipped it over and saw that it was orange, I was like, I think it's a carrot. And they were shocked, and then we were all trying to figure out how he got it up his nose. And it couldn't have been that he choked on it because it was a whole piece and he does chew his food. And if he chewed it, then it wouldn't be a whole piece. And because he's not prone to choking or just suddenly inhaling his food without chewing, it just couldn't have been through his mouth. So the only other option was up the nose. That's what he did, and apparently it smelled really bad, but I'm very happy to say that I had a sinus infection that week. So I really lucked out, because they said it smelled pretty gross, and they were wondering what was wrong with my nose and why I couldn't smell how horrible it was. So there's your funny story of the day from my blog. I'll try and post these maybe once a week if I can find them, or if I have nothing to talk about really, or it's late at night and I should be doing homework and just not in the mood. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you watch, what you're seeing, take a look at my blog, and please feel free to subscribe and share. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.